Hey everyone, I'm Nigel Pearson. I'm the math head, and if you're watching this video, it's probably because you're trying to figure out how wristwatches, mathematics, and chronology are all related, and how math can help you in your everyday life. In this video, we'll be talking about how mathematics is used for telling time. And in this video, we'll be using a watch to explain how chronology and arithmetic are combined to make our lives a lot easier. Firstly, to start, this watch that we know of, we call it a watch. It's actually called a chronometer. And of course, the chronometer is used to help us tell the time. This watch was invented about 1500 years ago, somewhere in Germany. We don't know the exact city, but we do know that it was invented in Germany. And of course, the purpose of it is to help us measure time. And of course, the wristwatch had several benefits in the time period, as people were allowed to look at the time when they were, say, out in the forest, versus the big watches in the middle of the city that were used to look at the time, say, but you only had to look at the city. Now, let's look at this wristwatch and see the chronology aspect of it. We all know that chronology is the study of the measure of time and the arrangement of it as to what happened first, second, third, etc. Okay? So this wristwatch is set to tick its hands in a certain specified, rhythmic, predictable method, so that we know that the measurements are exactly the same. Now let's look at the mathematical aspect. The mathematical aspect of this watch deals with arithmetic. Arithmetic is the study of the manipulation of numbers, the identification and the manipulation of numbers. How this applies to the watch is that the watch is set to tick at rhythmic time periods, right? So arithmetic plays into this because arithmetic is able to measure the amount of time: 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, right? So arithmetic is a set of numbers and the manipulation of the numbers so that we can understand the quantity of time that has passed by to get our goals achieved. Now that we understand chronology and we understand mathematics and arithmetic and how it plays into it, let's use two examples of how the wristwatch can be used, how it has been used, and how it will be, and how it can be used in the future. The first example of the wristwatch we're going to take is how it was applied during war. So the wristwatch was invented in the 1500s, but the first time it was heavily utilized was in World War I. In World War I, the Allies, particularly the USA, assigned all of their soldiers a wristwatch. And the reason why they did it is because number one, the soldiers needed to know the time whenever they were in battle. If you're trying to operate a weapon, you can't look at a large clock or anything. If you're trying to operate a large weapon, you can't look at a large clock. You have to have the time on your wrist. And the second reason is because the wristwatch was used to coordinate attacks. So, if you have an army with several units and a navy and an air force, which was very possible during World War I, you would need to send an army in, attack, but also you would need to send airplanes to bomb the place. The Navy would use artillery to bomb, but at the same time, you couldn't allow your soldiers to get hurt, right? So then the soldiers have to know what time they're going to get in and what time they're going to get out, what time they're going to attack and what time they're going to leave, right? For example, during the D-Day invasion, airplanes were scheduled to bomb the beaches, the German soldiers on the beaches. And then afterwards, the U.S. Navy showed up with the British Navy, right? so that way none of the allied powers were hurt. Our second example is an everyday example. So, in this age of technology, we all have cell phones and we can all see the time. And so cell phones are usually more useful. However, there are advantages to having a wristwatch that cell phones can't give you. For example, a cell phone battery may last for 72 hours if you're stranded, a week at the most. A wristwatch battery, this thing will last for at least a year. At least a year. Actually, this one is a wind-up watch, so it'll last forever. It'll probably last longer than me. All right. Thank you for watching this video. Again, I'm Nigel Pearson. I'm the Math Head. And if you enjoyed this content, I'd like for you to ring that bell, subscribe, like the video, and tune in next week.